Hey guys, welcome back to Pointless Perspectives. This week we're taking a look at another rom-com movie, specifically The Proposal, which is, I would say, probably one of our favorites and one of our OG movies that got us into rom-coms.
Yes,
Uh,
it definitely
yes,
is the one that got me into rom-coms. I watched it
I,
quite young.
it's definitely like the first one. It's the one that I can remember the best.
Mm.
Um, out of all of like the rom coms that I've seen, especially the older ones, like now there's so many on Netflix and like Hulu or whatever. But this was an iconic one for
Yeah,
me.
I don't know how old it was. I didn't watch it in theaters or anything like that, like when it came
Yeah,
out.
same.
And
It was on
I
reruns for me.
I think I know I watched it with my parents, and I think we
Aw,
might have watched
wait.
like Redbox. Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of questionable movies I watched with my parents, and that's just the way it goes, you know.
All right, all right. Okay,
Who else am
so
I supposed to watch it with?
I mean, you're right. You're right. But
Especially
I
when we were
was
like 11 or 12. Like,
there's
the only
just,
way to get a Redbox CD was with our parents' credit card.
I'm just saying there's some scenes that were a little questionable.
Oh, yeah.
A little
I
bit.
don't think I understood it at all. Like, when I
That makes
first watched
sense.
it.
Yeah. Okay, so same kind of structure as usual, cast summary, and then we'll get into talking about it. And we'll hopefully have a spoiler alert if we don't forget. All right, you want to get into the cast, Samhita?
Oh, yeah. Simple stuff. There is a large cast, but really, like, the main characters of the movie is just Ryan Reynolds, who plays Andrew Paxton. He plays Sandra Bullock's character's assistant. So Sandra Bullock plays Margaret Tate, who is the executive editor in chief at a New York book publishing company, who's Canadian and is about to be deported because she overstays her. She forgets to do something with probably her work visa, and so they're like, "You're gonna get deported," and then so then she makes up the lie that she's actually going to be marrying her assistant, who's from Alaska and thus a U.S. citizen. Another, I guess, bigger character of the movie. She's just like a big actress, right? Betty White. She plays Andrew's grandma. I think her name is actually Annie, but for majority of the movie, she goes by Gammy. And then his dad is played by Craig T. Nelson. I think he's only known for being the voice of one of the characters in Incredibles.
So he's actually the voice of Mr. Incredible.
Okay,
So
yeah.
iconic man's, and then also he was in like this ABC family show called Parenthood, which I watched when I was like younger, but I don't
Yeah,
know how popular it is.
that's with the
Mae
what's her name?
Whitman and
Yes.
all those people's the person that plays Lorelai on Gilmore
Yeah,
Girls.
and Gilmore Girls. Yeah, that's the only thing I remember from her. Yeah.
Mm.
On top of that, Ryan Reynolds' mom is played by Mary Steenburgen. She's actually currently in a show called that I know her from, called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Yes,
That just
ma'am.
finished a season on NBC. So that's kind of cool that I didn't recognize her from this movie, but
Yeah, she plays
now I know.
she's played like a lot of like maternal roles. Like I've seen her as a mother in a couple of movies. Like, do you remember Step
Mm.
Brothers and like stuff like that? Like
Mm.
she's been like the mom there. She's been in Back to the Future and played like the older guy's love interest. Like she's everywhere. But I haven't seen her as like a main character.
So, you know Ted Danson? He's in The Good Place. He's the
Yes,
guy with the
yes.
white hair.
Oh, are they married?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
They're like together or whatever. I don't know if they're married. I think they are. But yeah, so like that's something that was like a connection that I found out that I was like, oh my god, wow. Okay, I
Aw.
so the thing is I know Ted Danson. Like I know him from The Good Place, obviously, because like that's like a cultural like phenomena of a show. But
Mhm.
I had first known him for the show Cheers, which is like a really old like that's what
Oh.
probably most people know him from is Cheers because that's like was like a really big show at the time and still quite popular for
Oh my
reruns.
god. He was the main guy.
Sam.
I never made that connection. He
Yeah.
looks so young.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Mine is low key blown.
Yep.
A little
And
bit.
the final like character I'll bring up is this character named Gertrude. She's played by Malin Ackerman. The only reason I'm bringing her up is because she plays the sister to Katherine Heigl in 27 Dresses.
Yeah.
So seeing that she was in that movie again, I was like, again, obviously when I first watched this movie, I didn't watch all these other ones that I'm mentioning, and so I didn't have that connection. But now I do, and I'm like, whoa, like I didn't know they were in both of these. But yeah, she plays Gertrude, which is Andrew's ex girlfriend, who he actually proposes. Oh, am I like revealing too much of the plot?
No, you're good.
It's just revealed, like, I think it's a small thing, but like he did propose to her, but like she rejected him because she didn't want to go to
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah. She was like, I'm made for this town
I
and
don't
this
think she has
home.
any more of a character
No, I don't
in the
think so.
movie other
She
than just
was
that.
yeah, she was also in whatchamacallit? The new Netflix movie The Sleepover. She plays the mom.
Yes, I saw that. She's in another movie with Ben Stiller, Heartbreak Kid or something like that.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
I read like the synopsis for it, and I think it's kind of interesting. I just never got around to like watching it. But basically, like in that movie, like he falls in love with her at like first sight and marries her, and then like her true nature comes out after they get married
Oh boy.
during their honeymoon about how much of like that she's like kind of crazy and like really like I guess controlling. I guess I don't know. And then so while he's on his honeymoon, he like constantly tries to escape her, and like then he meets another woman that he
Oh
like
Lord.
yeah.
Okay, so that's the brief cast list. I know Samhita mentioned a little bit about the plot, but I'm just going to go over it one more time before we give our little spoiler alert. So basically, Sandra Bullock plays a native Canadian, which is really funny considering Ryan Reynolds is a Canadian, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, she's faced with deportation, and she's like a really famous like book editor, also very much like a hard ass.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
she's
They constantly. I mean, she's referred to as like straight up bitchy throughout that entire movie. So
yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
I agree. I don't know, but she's definitely mean.
yeah. She's not
Regardless,
the
yeah.
sweetest person that you could ever meet, but yeah. So basically, she's super like kind of type A um, book editor that runs or is trying to make her way in the New York publishing world slash has made her way up pretty much in the New York publishing industry, and she is faced with deportation because she forgot to like renew or complete forms for her work visa, and so now she's threatened with going back to Canada for 6 months before she can so she has to go back for at least 6 months before she can return to the United States with her valid visa. Basically, in order to avoid this, she loops her assistant Ryan Reynolds, Andrew Paxton, into something that he didn't even know was happening, but just had to happen
It was
upon
really
it.
just him being there at the wrong place at the
Yeah.
wrong time.
Exactly. And so then she was like, "Ah, we're getting married now, so I don't get deported." And then basically in order to like keep up the lie, she has to go to his hometown with him because he's having like a big family celebration for Gammy's like 90th birthday or something like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so she goes in order to learn more about him and his family, because the immigration officer was like, "You better have a like an airtight alibi, otherwise you're going to get sent back." So she's like, "Oh God." And turns out Andrew Paxton is from a little town in Alaska called Sitka, and his family is actually like a very, very wealthy um, family there and has a lot of like influence. And basically she meets his family, and it's about like kind of the relationships and different obstacles that come into play
Mm.
from this initial white lie, and also how she grows as a person and like actually gets to know her assistant and kind of winds up liking him a little bit. But yeah, that is our summary.
Yeah.
If you
We'll just
haven't
put
seen the
the
movie,
Yeah, we'll just put the spoiler alert here because
yeah.
I have no idea what I'm going to say while talking about this movie later.
Oh, we're gonna get into
The
it.
hope is that like you've seen it at least once where it
Mm,
doesn't matter because like it is such an I guess not such an old, but it's a relatively old movie.
yeah. But yeah, so spoiler alert. And on to the actual stuff. So this is like my day one, like rom com movie. That's what I got into. Ryan Reynolds, so cute. So cute.
This was the first movie I ever saw of his.
Yeah.
I
Like
didn't
this
know him
was
before this
I
movie.
didn't know him from like I never saw Green Lantern. I wasn't allowed to see Deadpool whenever it came out. So this was like the first like
You
thing that
weren't
I
allowed to see Deadpool. Fun fact, I
yeah.
watched Deadpool with my dad in theaters
Yeah, I don't know how you pulled that shit off, but that did
because we
not fly in
both
my
didn't
family.
understand what rated R meant for a movie like that. So we went and we were taken aback but still enjoyed the movie.
Yeah. I think what's so cool about what's so iconic about Ryan Reynolds is his like witty commentary. Like you know right off the bat just from his voice and like how he like says stuff, you know that
Yeah,
it's him.
but I will point out as someone
Mm,
that watched him before the Deadpool like Green Lantern stuff and Deadpool stuff
mm.
to now, he wasn't known for that. Like all of
Yeah.
that happened when he became Deadpool.
Really?
Yeah, it was once Deadpool came out that like his like big like comedic voice and like commentary voice became like a meme and like a big like culture like a media thing.
Mm.
Before that he was just known like he got memed by like social media and stuff for how bad Green Lantern was.
Yeah, I heard that. I didn't
Green
know that
Lantern was
he
like
was the one that was Green Lantern.
yeah, Green Lantern was a huge flop. He now like makes fun of it, but at the time it was a huge flop. And he says in like interviews now he would still do that movie because that's where he met his wife, but other than that, he wouldn't like it was like an awful movie for him to even have taken on.
Yeah.
And then basically, yeah, Deadpool came about because so he was in an X-Men movie where he played that directorial's view of like how Deadpool should have been, and that director did like an awful depiction of Deadpool, I guess, because he basically had him like had his like mouth sewn shut,
Gross.
so and so like he didn't talk,
You couldn't talk at all.
but he like used swords and stuff, and like that was like the Deadpool in that movie, and Ryan Reynolds played that version, and then
Oh, really?
I think people agreed, and he also agreed with people that like that wasn't like what Deadpool was supposed to be depicted as, but no one was gonna do it because at that point most superhero movies were PG-13, and to do a Deadpool like pure Deadpool movie would require the movie to be rated R.
Oh my god, this was him? Oh
Yeah.
my god, because there was a fight scene in an X-Men movie that was
Mm,
this sword guy versus
mm,
I never knew. Oh my god, I'm learning so
yeah.
many things.
And so basically he was the one that pitched and pushed for Deadpool to happen for like 5 years.
Damn.
Like
I
he
mean,
had to
he's
pitch
so
for a
good at
script
it.
because no one wanted to give money or like take it into production
Mm.
because it was too risky to make a rated R movie. And then when it happened at the low budget that it did, and it did so
Blew
well,
up, yeah.
it put Ryan on the map for like that voice. Um, I mean, Ryan Reynolds has always been funny, like, but like the only way you saw it was like in blooper reels or interviews. So like,
Yeah.
see like the blooper reel for the proposal, like he's hilarious. Like that's when I knew that he was like as funny as he was, like
Mm.
that dry humor. But it didn't really like come out to like Hollywood view till Deadpool,
Yeah.
and then all of the stuff based off it stemmed from his voice in Deadpool.
Yeah, because like I think he was more recently in Detective Pikachu, where like he has like a very like it's funny because he doesn't know who he is technically, and he just has this like banter with like a 16-year-old kid, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean the humor is the fact that it's his voice in that Pikachu body that
yeah,
doesn't seem to fit, but it
yeah,
fits so well.
yeah,
Um, I mean that's how like Deadpool worked too. You didn't see his face; it was a
yeah,
masked figure and him narrating behind the mask.
yeah. Ah, I don't know. I like his voice a lot just because like he has like very good comedic timing. Also Sandra Bullock is just one, she's like a great actress. Two, she's so pretty. Like she's like
Mm.
50 and she still looks like she's like 30 or
Yeah, I
like
looked it up like
25.
before because I'm pretty sure that was like a those are like jokes that were they were saying in the movie that I didn't get, and I
Mm.
probably will now if I rewatch it. But there wasn't like she's older than Ryan, so like that by like
Oh,
what was it?
snap.
I looked it up. She's 56 now, so she was 45 during the filming
Are
during
you
this movie,
kidding me?
and Ryan was 32 at the time of the movie. So they have like a over 10-year gap, and like I
Oh
guess
my
that was like kind of like some of the jokes, a butt of jokes, maybe. Maybe they weren't, but like I think that was like a point was like the fact that she was older.
That's so wild. Yeah, she does not look in any way 56. Like I don't see it. Her, Jennifer Aniston and like Courtney Cox, like to me like don't seem like they've aged.
I agree with Jennifer Aniston. I feel like Courtney Cox, like she looks good for her age, but like I do think
Mm,
she looks like she's gotten some work done, and I don't know. It's not like in a negative way,
yeah.
but it looks like she got Botox and stuff.
No, I
Versus
get
for
that.
like people like Sandra Bullock and Jennifer Aniston, they probably also have, but like they've done it tastefully, where like I can't tell.
Yeah. I think yeah, that might be it. But yeah, they're just they both ugh so pretty. But yeah, so what I thought was really funny is that do you remember like Ramon, who's played by like Oscar Nunez, who's like from The Office, I think? Like he plays Oscar in The Office. Is that I think do you remember do you know him? No? No? Okay.
Really putting me on the spot on this because it means I have to like admit that I haven't watched The Office.
Well, oh, I thought you had.
No.
It's okay. I didn't watch it until last year, so you're chilling.
Yeah, I got like ripped on like literally last week for not watching The Office because it's like such a funny show, and I was like, I just haven't like I
Oh god,
didn't even
people are
know
gonna
like it
hate
was that
me.
big of a show until like 2 years ago.
Yeah, same pretty much, and like people are probably gonna hate me just because like I don't think it's that funny. Like, it's stupid funny. Like it's if that makes sense. Like it's a type of humor that like oh god, I'm gonna get ragged on so much.
You're digging
Um,
yourself a hole. I wasn't even gonna comment on like how I found the humor, like because like I don't know.
well, yeah, I don't know. Like for me, it's like I prefer Friends over The Office. I know a lot of people love The Office way more. But like
For
those
the
types of shows are just not my vibe. Same thing with like Parks and Rec. Just can't do it.
I'm not gonna comment on anything about any of those shows because those are like mega fan bases, like favorite TV shows.
I mean, you're smart, but I mean, we made this to give our pointless perspective, so okay. Anyways, so basically the guy that plays, the stripper in the club,
Mhm.
yeah. So he also plays that character in the, like, not that same character, but he plays a character in The Office. And he literally, what I find so funny is he does everything within that town. He's like a stripper, he's like the go-to guy for like catering or something. Like he's everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he just kept popping up like numerous
I
times.
think
I
it
thought
was
it was so
their
funny.
way of emphasizing that it was a small town and that
Yeah.
there's like influential people that do like many things there at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
Actually, I
Um
read that they didn't
mm,
film any of it in Alaska. They filmed all of this in
Canada? Oh,
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts?
You say Canada? But yeah, like
Well, because a lot of like shows and movies film in Canada, like Vancouver. Like that's
well,
where like
shows. Yeah, I'll say shows, but that's just because CW is based in Vancouver. So
wait,
all the
really?
yeah, like CW studios, like that's why a lot of CW shows, well, almost all CW shows film in Vancouver.
Oh, I did not know this. Learning so many things. But yeah, no, I know like the common spots for filming to take place nowadays is like Atlanta, there's Ohio, there's um well,
For
also
what in
Vancouver.
Ohio?
Do you remember like Marvel movies? Because Ohio has really like chill filming laws. That's why like Cherry was able to be filmed there. On top
I
of
thought,
like
well,
the,
Cherry is based in Cleveland,
well,
so that's why.
yeah,
But I
but
thought
like
most
yeah,
of, well, I thought it was Atlanta. Most of Avengers was filmed in Atlanta.
most of it. But there's like certain scenes that were filmed of like Civil War that were also filmed in Ohio.
Oh wait, I remember. Not Civil War, but I remember. So like on Amazon, they have like those like when you watch a movie, you can have like trivia that comes on the side. And I was
Yeah.
watching the first Avengers, and then there was trivia that the scene where takes the guy's eye and like
Mm.
scans it as like
Yeah.
Hawkeye gets into like a lab to get like the special material.
Yeah.
That like it's supposed to be like in Germany, right?
Yeah.
They actually do that in Cleveland, in like
Oh
downtown Cleveland.
snap.
I think there's
Oh.
like a fib where like you can see like a sign that's very much in English and not so. And it was like gave away that it's Cleveland.
Mm, that makes sense. But yeah, okay, so it was filmed in Massachusetts. Actually, that makes sense. Now that I think about it, it makes sense.
They need water.
Yeah. I think one of the funniest scenes by far of the movie was, was the whole whatchamacallit, the where she like bike rides into the forest and she sees Gammy and she does that whole Salt and Pepper song.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
It's
yeah.
so funny.
Yeah,
He's like, to the window.
I actually forgot about that scene until
Mm.
I was like going back over like the cast and everything, and I was like looking at the awards, and they won I think like People Choice Awards for Best Dance
Really?
for that scene. Yeah,
I didn't know that it was People's Choice like level, but like I appreciate
and
it.
it was just like something choice, like it was like a fan
Mm.
voted award,
That's
and
cute.
I guess they really liked the scene of her and Gammy.
It's adorable. Cause like also I didn't know who Betty White was before I looked up the cast for this movie. I had no idea.
So I know who she is. I know like her name, and I can know the name to the face. But like I don't know, I still don't actually know like what she's really famous for.
Golden Girls. That was like a
Uh
huge thing back in the day.
yeah, and that's what I don't know because like I know the show, but I don't know the characters in the show, like who played what in the show,
Mm.
and that makes more sense. I know she is a comedic like icon,
She comes up like every like time someone can mention Betty White, they mention Betty White.
and I know she's like supposed to be like super sweet, and that's why a lot of people like her. But yeah,
Aw.
I don't know. I didn't know she was in Golden Girls.
I didn't until I looked it up and I was like, cause like and like when we were younger, like people would always mention like Betty White, like oh my god, they should get Betty White or something like that. And I was like, who's this Betty White lady? I always thought she was like It's really bad, but I always thought like that they meant like Betty Crocker, you know, the person on the cooking
I
things.
know what you mean. I haven't done that, but like I know
I
I
just thought
can
they
I
were
guess
so
understand because of the first name. Like
yeah. 'Cause she was the only Betty I knew, and I was like, ah, okay, that makes sense. Let's go with it. Why not? Um, I was very wrong, but it's okay. It's okay. Um, also, I think one of the iconic scenes from the movie itself is that one scene where they end up like what in a towel or something.
yeah, she forgets to take a towel with her into the bathroom, right? And she goes and reaches for one, but the only thing she can find is like a small hand towel or something.
Oh,
And like then like they and he comes in the room playing music while she's like completely naked trying to get a towel. And then
Lord.
like he turns around and sees her, yeah. And like I think they like there's like a part where like she's like running to get away and then they end up bumping into each other instead and like falling
Um,
to the ground maybe. I don't remember exactly.
I think so. And then also like I think there was a dog. I know there was a puppy involved.
Oh, it's when that scene was when a, an eagle takes her phone and so she starts to bargain with the eagle to take the dog and return her phone.
Oh wow.
He was like raising it like Simba style, like take the dog, and it's not her dog. It's it's their family dog.
Also, I think like I don't know. I think not. I think. I know that like I really like this movie because it balanced like comedy as well as like a little bit of seriousness pretty well. Like I think her character, like Margaret Tate, had a really sad story, like origin story. Like her parents died or something like that, and then like her and her sibling, or like her whole family died, and then her and her she was just alone. So she had like that sparrow tattoo. But it was also
Yeah,
like
it was about her being alone. Well, that's what they were trying to balance. Was like she grew up alone, and then suddenly being thrown into like a really integrated family lifestyle
it was
kind of
different.
scared her and made her feel really bad about what she was doing by
Yeah.
asking, like forcing her way into the family.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't too dramatic, but it was there. And then I enjoyed it more for the fact that it was like more comedy than
Yeah.
drama.
Yeah.
Because like you can watch like rom-coms that end up being more like this heart-wrenching, dramatic, like will they, won't they kind of feeling. But this, I think also another reason why we like this was because it was the enemies to lovers concept where like they hated each other before.
Shoot, look at you bringing in that connection.
They hated each other
Mm.
before, but then, after spending some time together and like
They're
being
like,
in the
oh.
forced, it's called like the forced like relationship kind of concept, like forced marriages or
Mm.
like faking it to, and then it ends up becoming like real
Oh,
emotion.
serpent and dove, do I hear?
Yeah, it's very common
Yeah.
concept.
It's cute though. Yeah, I was like I guess I definitely see that. Like that makes more sense. I didn't make that connection before.
Ye-
But yeah. I am hoping. Well, I think like also something interesting is that like you normally see that this type of movie is like the counterparts are flipped. So it's like a man that's in like the higher like role and then a woman that's like the assistant to that man. And so I think
Literally
it's like
dramas though.
I mean, you right. But like I think it was also pretty cool that they like switched it up and made it like switch the gender roles a little bit, which I was like, okay, okay,
Which I guess is innovative for 2009's time.
yeah,
But
that's pretty.
I
Like for
mean, yeah,
now, like right now, it's like, like that happens. But like for the time that it was released, honestly, not as bad. Like not bad at all.
but I don't think that was its like.
Intention? No.
I don't even think that was like noted. Like I don't think people that have watched it like see it that way either. It's just like I think
I mean,
so. Yeah,
yeah.
they didn't do well in like critic reviews.
Really?
Like yeah, like if you look at like IMDb or like Rotten Tomatoes, like critic reviews, it didn't do well. And
Mm.
the only that kind of not unanimously, but like most crit- what is it critic critiques stated about the movie that was good was the chemistry between Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, which is true. Their chemistry was what basically made this movie work.
Mm-hmm.
It
Facts.
was a movie
Big facts.
that is highly recommended and like loved by general public and like viewers, like
Mm-hmm.
day to day viewers. Because like whenever I look up like what rom com I should watch, one that will come up is The Proposal, especially
Yeah.
if you're looking for like the uh enemies to lovers thing that I keep talking about.
Yeah. Definitely. It's just also I think it served as like although it doesn't have like critical acclaim, I definitely think it's one of the main movies that people like associate with the whole rom-com genre. Like it's definitely like one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's
All right.
what's the first Sandra Bullock movie you watched
I
other than
think
this?
The Blind Side.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah.
That was that movie, wasn't it?
I think so. She was blonde then, so I'm pretty sure yeah.
I mean, it was
Um
a wig.
Oh, it was?
I doubt that she actually dyed her hair because she's always had a brunette hair for any other thing.
That would make sense.
My first
I
movie was Miss Congeniality.
Oh, yeah. I haven't
Before
really
that,
seen that all the way through. I originally
I
hadn't seen
am
it,
I
but
am
then, like
hurt. That is like at the time of like 2010, 11, like I lived, and I still do to be honest, but I at that time I lived for that movie. I loved Miss Congeniality so much.
Really?
Oh my god, yeah. I don't know, something about it was just like it was like that action base, but it was still like her being like feminine and like and then
Okay.
it wasn't too big on the romance. It was just like comedic and with some action and stuff. And it was just so different too to see like a
Mm.
pageant, like a whole pageant like competition go down.
Um, I think, like, I've seen, like, certain iconic scenes from there, but I've never seen it, like, all the way through. So, like,
Oh my
I've
god.
seen, when I think she got, like, a makeover, so she was, like, in heels and in this purple pant, like, skirt suit
Yeah,
type
it's
deal.
the scene of her like transforming. I probably that's honestly like one of the things I like too is like, Princess Diaries, that scene is iconic to me. Miss Congeniality
Mm.
transition from being like very like masculine, I guess, but that was because like that's what she worked, the field she worked in
Yeah.
didn't require her to look good, I guess, and like and then transform her into like really pretty. And I think I liked that those types of transitions. But yeah, so like that
Yeah.
movie is like one of my childhood movies that I will remember,
Mm.
and that's how where I saw her first, and then I saw her again in Proposal, which was also something that shaped my childhood and like the rom com aspect. Yeah, I definitely saw her in a lot of movies. Um, Speed with Keanu.
Speed.
Yeah, Speed. It's a movie she did with Keanu Reeves.
I don't know who I didn't know who Keanu Reeves was until I saw Always Be My Maybe with Ali
Are
Wong.
you? Are you? Oh my god! I just felt my blood boil. Like I know what you like. I didn't see him like as like a popular figure until like a couple years ago. I get that, but I always knew who he was.
Didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. I because I've never seen what is his main movie, The Matrix? No? No?
Yes, but like,
Da Vinci
yeah,
Code
but
was
like,
them?
they put, like Keanu Reeves.
I didn't know. I
Yes,
wasn't
his
really.
main franchise that he like really took off with, that he's known for his Matrix series, but he has a lot of other things that he did well in.
He's been like mentioned throughout, like he's mentioned in songs and like other movies, things like that.
That
But
is
I never
because
knew.
I think mid 2000s,
Mm.
2010s, like around 2010 era, he got kind of like again like turned into a meme, but I don't know what for. I think it was just because of like some of his like some I don't know. It might just be because of his star status, but like he had like a lot of he doesn't have that many hits. Like he has
Mm.
done a lot of movies that ended up being like underwhelming and not so known. But
Oh.
I don't know exactly what it is, but he took everything like a champ, and like he seems like he has a really sad like life story, but like I won't go into it, but like that, and he seems like a genuinely nice person.
Mm.
So it's like he's really cool. But yeah, Speed was a really big hit though.
I never heard of it. Never seen it. Is it on Netflix? Is it on Hulu? Is it on something?
Oh,
I'll
I don't
watch
know.
it.
I watched it a while ago. I watched it like once, like a while ago, and I just know that it's there. I also remember that like in individual interviews, like they were
Mm.
asked about each other. So like Sandra was asked about Keanu, and Keanu was asked about Sandra. But the first interview was Sandra, and like they asked her about like working with Keanu Reeves, and like she admitted that she had like a crush on him at the time, and that
Aww.
she was like, nervous throughout the movie because she had a crush on him, and then but like she never said anything about it, and then like they talked to Keanu about like Sandra's interview, and he's like, "That's so funny. I had a crush on her." And
Aww.
like everybody in the comments is like, "What kind of missed opportunity was this?" Like,
Just like ships passing in the night. Aw, that's actually really cute. Also, see, I feel like Sandra Bullock movies and like Ryan Reynolds movies, specifically their rom coms, definitely shaped my childhood, and they gave me unfair expectations from life regarding my love life in particular.
basically every rom com. But that's also, I you have to give some leeway to like, I guess, what our romantic lives could or will be in the
I
future, because
mean,
these are all like, if you've noticed, like it's always when the girl is like in her 30s.
that's true.
And
But
in the
I
case of
don't
the
want to be
proposal,
in my
she's
30s.
40s. So,
You make some solid points here. I just don't want to wait for love until I'm 30s.
well, I mean, like they don't show it as like that's their first and only love, obviously,
Yeah, they
but
have
they're just showing
lives.
that's the one that gets them to marriage,
Yeah.
I guess.
It's cute though.
Never show like like that's one of the things, like the critique that I have about like American
Mm.
media and almost every media is like there's this jump from high school to like late 20s early 30s.
I agree
They're
with that.
like there's so many like high school plot, like oriented plot TV shows that I think could have been done in a college setting and made more sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, so many. Literally, like,
Because like we are a consumer base and probably the biggest consumer base of TV, so why don't they target it to us? I don't know.
yeah. And like, also half the stuff that happens in like high school, quote unquote, like shows is stuff that is more suited to actually occurring in college.
Yeah, like when you see like the parties and stuff, I'm like, if this was like a frat party, I would get you. Like I'd understand that.
Yeah,
That
but
would
this
make
is not a high school party. Are you kidding me?
yeah. I don't know why, and I like adamantly like get frustrated about it because I'm like, show me like a romance that happens in like college, like they meet in college or something like that, because
Yeah.
that would make much more sense to me.
Especially now, because I feel like back in the day, I mean back in the day isn't like 20 years ago, but like people actually like met their like love of their lives and like high school sweethearts were a much bigger thing. Like
I don't think so. I'd still say that it's a lot more college sweethearts.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but I feel like the idea was still there because that was definitely like a
My family is like maybe not a great example of it, but like, oh, like my uncle and aunt met in college, their bachelor
Mm.
during their bachelors, but like my
Aw.
friends, like whose parent, like when we talk about like how their parents met, like it's always like
College?
yeah, like my one of my friends, best friends, like I asked how he met his parents met, and like that's how. Well, actually, they're a bad example. They were high schools, and I realized as I was talking that
See,
they.
like there's more high school stuff, like sweethearts type stuff back then than there definitely is now because I feel like a lot of the times like people meet in college or even like after college. I feel like yeah, more college relationships should be
I mean,
displayed.
I've heard of the stories of like people that meet during work.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want I think as like I get like I go through the phases of life, I want to see more movies that I can relate to that I see like, oh yeah, we're in the
Obviously,
same phase of life.
wanted to see those high school things, but and
Mm.
wish that that was us. But like now that we're in college, we understand that that's not true because of
Yeah.
the past, and that we want it for like older age group. I just think it would make more sense, and like casting would make sense because you
Oh my
anyways
god.
cast like 18 to 22 year olds to play high
Yeah.
schoolers. But if you put it in the setting of college, it would actually make sense. They would be playing their age.
Oh my god, yeah. Especially like this is a very big thing.
You wouldn't
And
be like
like
sexualizing minors. So like
yeah.
great.
Yeah, like no, like with the big movies like nowadays, like Kissing Booth, like To All the Boys I Loved Before, these people that are playing those characters are like in their mid 20s, like early to mid 20s. Like the
Like
youngest
obviously
person
books
is
are
like
different because books, that's the audience.
yeah,
They have different audience for adults and like different settings for books. But like so it's up to like the direct or like the people that like take on the movie
yeah.
to cast properly for it. And like the reason that they like people are always like, oh, they should just cast like the right age, but it's like yeah, but you can't once they're under 18, like there
It's
becomes a huge
working stuff.
like issues of like they need to go to school and they can't work over a certain amount of time.
Because
Like
like
I
there's
don't know.
child labor laws. And they're
Yeah,
like, yeah, we can't.
and it's like risky too because like I don't know, it's just like would be hard I think as a director to tell like actual 16-year-olds like to do like sexual things, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in certain movies they it's a lot more maybe, like not To All the Boys I Loved Before, but because it's just
Kissing
kissing.
booth.
Like Kissing Booth had like, you know, the reference in the first movie. Like that's hard to ask young
Yeah.
kids to do.
And it's hard for them to be okay with too. So like
You can't ask it to be honest because they're minors.
yeah. I don't know, man. Ugh. Things are weird. But I have always been and will always be a big fan of rom coms. Like,
Yeah.
even if they're trashy, like, I'll still watch them. I'll still watch them.
It's
Even
for
if
the
they're meant
content.
for kids, kids
It's
younger than
for
me.
the hmm?
Even if they're meant for people that are younger than me, still watch them.
I mean, yeah, but like I said, like it's for the content. It's for the some sort of expectation since it's not happening in our actual lives.
Yes. God. Expose us, why don't you?
I mean, there's
Well,
not. I mean, there's nothing revolutionary to say.
I mean you are correct. But yeah, definitely if you haven't seen The Proposal, you have to watch it. Um also watch Miss Congeniality because I feel like Samhita would be horrified if you did not know what that movie was.
I mean, I thought a lot of people knew it, but if you didn't know it, it's a great movie to watch.
It's a good one.
But
It's a good one.
it's yeah.
It's iconic. So definitely if you haven't watched it, watch it. Or if you just want to rewatch it, go for it. Why not? If you have time. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're kind of done with that, but I did want to make a point on
Mhm.
here. I feel like maybe not next week, but at some point we keep talking about things that we like already.
Mhm.
There's always good things to say about things we like, but like
That's
I
true.
want we can take on something that we found extremely cringy or like we hated,
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
just like rip on it. I mean, delightfully rip on it.
Delightfully. You know?
Or
Yeah,
sorry,
okay.
tastefully. Tastefully.
Tastefully. Tastefully. Okay. I'm down for that. We just gotta figure out what it's gonna be.
Yeah, I have no idea on the top of my head. I think I like almost everything I watch because it's something, but
Yeah. Yeah.
which is what makes me an awful reviewer of anything.
This is why we don't necessarily review. We just, say what we like. All right. I think we're going to end it here. We will talk to you guys next time, I guess, in a way. And yeah.
That's it.
All right. Bye, guys. Peace.
Bye.